Nigel of NBW-Graphics here, and here is Heathrow Airport Terminal 5, and I accompanied my daughter, who works as cabin crew for one of the airlines, on one of her long-haul return trips to Los Angeles. That was a direct flight of 11 hours duration. We left home at 10:30 hours in the morning for Heathrow, and our flight departed at 16:10 hours Friday afternoon. On arrival, and the best part of an hour's bus ride, we booked into one of the local hotels that was very comfortable, spacious, with good service. At the time, the hotel was playing host for some kind of religious convention. I think they were of the Happy Clappers persuasion.
They said it this way. That way, Lord, over here. Thank you for that. Need that. Thank you.
So we are in LA, and I decided to hire a car out because I'm a crazy mofo and I'm driving down wrong lanes, trying not to get killed. And say hi, Dad.
Hi there.
Turn left. He's enthusiastic, as you can tell. Let's take your dad to work day.
We rented a car and drove to the Warner Brothers studio. That must have taken about an hour and a half, but it seemed to take forever, as we did not know where we were going. But sat-nav saved the day. The highlight of the tour for Louise was when we visited the set where the TV series Friends was made, where Louise was photographed sitting on the original couch amongst the surrounding set. As you can imagine, we came across a lot of superheroes and other characters of daring do. Here are some of them, and I'll let you see if you can recognize any of them.
Up here to the left, this building, it says building 137 above the door. This building has also been used for filming. In the TV show Entourage, they turned this into NBC Studios. Now, how do we turn it into NBC, you guys? We just put a sign above the door that says NBC, and that is about it. So signs dictate everything. So sometimes it's just as simple as putting a sign that says NBC above the door, and that's all you have to do to make the building a completely different location. And then over here to our left, we're going to be passing a parking lot. Even this parking lot has been used for filming. In the TV show Mom, it stars Anna Faris and Allison Janney. They set up 2 walls out here, and in between those walls, they created a Dairy Queen. So even simple as putting 2 walls up in the parking lots, we create anything we want. This building up here to our left, this is what we call the bridge building. Very plain on the outside, but we've used this for filming many times as well. In a TV show called The Middle, this was an airport. In the West Wing, it's a fancy hotel. In the Fosters, it is San Diego Police Department. So how do we change it into all these different things? If we wanted an airport, we would just put taxis on the outside, put background actors carrying luggage, and we have an airport. If we wanted a hospital, we would put ambulances on the outside, put a sign above the door that says ER, and we would have a hospital. So with the use of different props, background actors, and signs, we can change a lot of these very plain buildings into anything else that we want. To our left over here, the very bottom floor of this parking garage, this is our costuming department. So you can kind of see they have some costumes in the windows right over here. So it's this floor, and it's one more basement level below it. If you were to line all of the costumes and all of the clothes and all of the shoes up from start to finish, you are going to get 8 miles of costumes, you guys. That is how much stuff is in there. And kind of the same ideas as some of our backlots and everything, things can be reused many times over and over again. Over here to our right, this parking lot, this is currently the base camp for that show Shameless, you guys. So a lot of their trailers and stuff go right back here. But before this used to be a parking lot, this also was used as this was one of our western towns. So for the movie Blazing Saddles, a lot of that was actually filmed right back over here. Also, when Michael Jordan was filming Space Jam, he was still under contract at the NBA, so he wanted to practice basketball every single day. So we built him his own regulation-sized basketball court right out over here in this parking lot, you guys. And now our next backlot we are heading into, this is what we call Midwest Street, or otherwise known as Anytown, USA. So some of you might recognize it. So for Gilmore Girls, it's Stars Hollow, Connecticut. For my Pretty Little Liar fans, this is Rosewood, Pennsylvania. It's also used in the movie The Music Man. This is River City, Iowa. In Dukes of Hazzard, this is Hazard County. It's been used in East of Eden, starring James Dean. This is Salinas, California. So it's been used so many different times, you guys. So first, there are 4 houses along this street. Every single one of these houses are all practical, so you can film inside as well as outside all of them. Now, if you guys look this way, we are on the complete other side of a different house, you guys. It's even painted a different color. So this side of the house, it's Suki's house for Gilmore Girls. It's also been used as Mona's house for PLL. It's been used as James Dean's house in the movie East of Eden. So we've used it many different times. Across the street over here, this house back here also has multiple front sides to it. So the front side of this house was used in an episode of Friends. That is where Phoebe goes, she thinks she's going to meet her dad, and then she ends up meeting her brother instead in the front of this house, and then she hits a dog right in front of that house as well. The right side of the house is Drew Carey's house from the Drew Carey Show. So all we just do is zoom in close enough, make sure you don't get any of the other sides of the house, and it looks like a completely different location. Up here, this house over to the right. This house has been used in a movie called The Shootist. It was John Wayne's last feature film. That's where he goes to see the doctor's house. That's Miss Kim's Antiques for my Gilmore fans. And that is Emily Field's house from Pretty Little Liars. Over here to the left, you guys, this house, we call this the Seaver house because in the TV show Growing Pains, it's their house in the theme song. It's also been used in Gremlins. This is Mrs. Deagle's residence where all the little gremlins go up and sing Christmas carols in front of her house. And then it's also been used in Christmas Story Live. So the entirety of the first floor of that house was turned into Ralphie's house. And now this is our town square here, everybody. And I'm actually going to pull around the corner and we're going to hop out and take a look at our town square here. So that way I can let you guys take pictures on our gazebo and everything too.
At the end of our tour, we were deposited into the proverbial gift shop, where one could spend a small fortune on any amount of memorabilia. So while waiting for Louise to do her version of a female long-time decision devotee-making shopping trip, I retired to the Central Perk Cafe for refreshments. This cafe is a practical money-making enterprise. based on the Friends filming set, and I waited for her to join me, and that concluded our visit to Warner Brothers studio. For many years I have wanted to train at Gold's Gym, so my daughter and I drove to Venice, a journey that took about 1 hour. By the time we arrived at Gold's, I was not disappointed, a journey well worth making. Of course it was not the original Gold's Gym, back in the day when Arnold used to train there for his Mr. Olympia competitions, when it was built, equipped and run by Joe Gold. Joe Gold built his first gym back in 1965, out of cinder blocks, and fabricated all the weight training equipment himself, and some years later he sold it along with the rights to his name, and he returned to sea as a merchant seaman. I believe the Gold's I trained at is on its third location in Venice. Joe Gold was quoted as saying, "With some basic skills, ambition and persistence, then there is little limit to what you can achieve, and by trying you can often surprise yourself." The Gold's Gym logo was designed by Rick Drayson. Rick was asked to make a likeness of a bold caricature on a cleaning bottle called Mr. Clean, with muscles holding a bent barbell. Rick also designed another logo for Joe Gold. When Joe returned ashore and got back into the gym business by starting World Gym, here he can be seen standing to the left of Joe Gold. Joe Gold passed away in 2004, aged 82. And what a legacy he left behind for the bodybuilding fraternity. While working out, I only saw one bodybuilding celebrity that I recognised, and that was Charles Class, who was a competitive bodybuilder in the 70s, 80s and 90s, and in the 1984 Mr. Olympia he placed 16th. Today he is a personal trainer known as the Trainer of Champions, and when I saw him I must have looked at him for too long, as he did a double take on me. But I did not talk to him, as he was with a client, and by the time I finished my workout he had left the gym. The original weight pit on Muscle Beach, where Arnold and Franco would train, was opposite the pier, whereas today's weight pit is further down the beach. Many feats of strength were demonstrated there, as well as athletic ability and regular bodybuilding training routines, as it is in the weight pit of today. To one side of the training area it is flanked by stadium seating donated by the late Joe Weirder, who was also known as the father of bodybuilding. In this photo you can see from left to right Franco Columbu, Joe Weirder and his wife, and Arnold Schwarzenegger using the Muscle Beach Ocean as a backdrop.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that if it's easy. Well,
Who said big man couldn't do this?
Yeah, it's a little bit aggressive.
What did you do? And he says, well, I stood there chewing chocolate thinking, what am I going to do now? So is there some behind the scenes listening and trying to they studied it?
it's okay. Did you get a break? Get a break, little boy? Working hard.
Somebody decided to stop by at any right now.
In 1/2 mile, keep left on Highway 90.
Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty, yes you do.
In 1/2 mile, be in either of the 2 left lanes.
The logistics of the LA break were leaving home at 10:30 hours Monday morning and arriving in LA that night. Day 2, visit the Warner Brothers studios. Day 3, work out at Gold's Gym, visit the weight pit on Muscle Beach, and a walkabout of the same. Return flight home that evening, arrive back in our home 2100 hours on day 4. During that time frame of 82 hours and 30 minutes, we spent 22 hours in the sky.
Look, wait for it, I'm about to turn the backlight on. How cool is that?